All right.
Ready?
Okay.
You ready?
I'm ready.
What are we doing?
We're just having a conversation.
All right.
Camping is the most important family event of the year.
The only entertainment, the only brain
talking
activity is with each other.
Everybody sings, and we all come together.
So much of our family's history is in these trees.
We are going to keep this going.
There's a feeling I have that is like no other.
I feel like Frissell is a family member.
Our family had a capital. It'd be
Frizzle
here.
is home.
Yeah.
Frizzle's home.
So Kim,
Yes.
as our the elder of the
Cousins.
early Cousins Club,
Yes.
OG Cousins
do
Club.
you have a first memory of Frissell? The earliest one you can access, I guess.
I remember not coming to Frissell when I was in college one year. And that was significant. And then I think the next memory I have is when my kids were little. But I don't have a specific early memory. But I don't have good early memories in general. So
Well, do you remember being a little kid here?
no. No.
Wow.
I don't remember being a little kid though. So that really is I do not have a good early memories. I don't. I mean, I can access them with pictures, you know, because Mom's has done all of her photo albums. So I can imagine it, but I don't have. Oh, maybe I have a memory of like hiking, walking with Dad and Uncle Bud. That's probably another one that is somewhere in there. But in terms of like a very specific targeted memory, I was 10 and this happened. No. But that's more about me and less about Frissell. Yeah.
Greg, you?
Yeah, definitely for me it's when Dad would, so you remember they used to stock this with fish.
Yeah.
Rainbow trout.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I have a
Rainbow
lot of
trout.
memories of walking
Okay, I have those
fishing
memories
with
too.
Dad,
Yeah.
and so
Yes.
Dad would take me, and we, you know, this is how I learned how to fish. So whether it was salmon eggs or worms or whatever,
Yes.
I learned how to thread them, and then I would go, and I don't remember, but there's some parts here that were just loaded, and so we would go fishing, and I would catch a fish, and then I would pull it in, and then I remember that I would take the hook out, and I would later Dad would have a creel, and so then the fit, you know, start to load up. And then I would clean the fish. Dad taught me how to clean the fish. And I got really into it as a little boy, as a younger boy. And then I remember one of the times, it was really cool because I caught maybe 2 or 3 rainbow trout. And that night, the adults ate that rainbow
Me
trout
too.
for dinner.
Wow.
Mom breaded it. Mom breaded it.
I have
and
that
was,
same memory, actually. I totally agree. I remember walking cross country going up this road.
Yeah.
And walking kind of cross country to find the best fishing hole with Dad.
Yeah, right.
And I was probably in like young high school.
Yeah, for me, I was definitely middle
Yeah.
school. Maybe even elementary. Actually, I want to say elementary because I was just this little guy that was like, I wanted to learn how to fish, and so Dad just. But again, I think we would go down there. I'm not sure.
Yeah, no, it's on the other side of the road.
Yeah, because
You'd go through the little tunnel.
Yeah.
He always had us on one side or the other of the little tunnel. I remember that.
Well,
very,
and that's
very
the other thing
clearly.
is I think we fished a lot right underneath that bridge.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because that's where the river got
Yeah.
kind of calm right
Yep.
there, and that was
There's
like
a hole there.
There
That's
was a
where I
hole.
learned what a salmon egg looked like.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
I caught a fish. I caught a couple of fish, and I was like
Little.
younger than you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's pretty much a big one. The only other thing I remember, and it wasn't here, but camping was that place we went to where it rained for 5 straight days.
Yeah, Adams
And
Fork.
it never stopped raining.
I actually have
Was
memories
that
of Adams
was
Fork.
that why you guys? I was having a very distinct memory of you guys had the van again. You guys
Yes.
had the camper
Yes,
van,
yes.
Yeah.
and you basically were sleeping in that. And I just remember like there were clothes or flags or something hung up all over the place. Like
Could be.
I've got a very very
Yeah,
clear memory of like
interesting. Wow.
spending a lot of time in the van again, and then there was like sheets or something. There was stuff.
I don't understand why our parents didn't pull the ripcord on that after day 2.
'Cause
The
Yeah,
forecasts weren't what they were now.
they were very serious.
It was gonna let up.
Oh, it was? Okay, because
Oh,
I'm like,
yeah.
really,
Oh,
I
yeah.
want to
That
say
was-
that was
somehow
5
that is like one of
days.
those epic
And maybe it's because, you know,
ever.
they had planned for 5 days of camping, and damn it, we're going to go camping for 5
I
days.
barely remember it, but I remember
But-
the van in
You
a weird
guys-
place that wasn't Frizzle.
You guys have a better chance of remembering when it was a gravel road past Slide Creek on the way up here.
Oh, I remember.
Oh, I don't remember
Yeah,
that.
I do.
Okay.
remember
When
that.
I obviously when you're little, drives seem to take a longer time than it
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
So do you guys remember long stretches
Yes,
on the gravel road?
absolutely.
and-
I have
remember that.
very
Switchbacks.
clear memories of, and I think it was kind of the sense that we were going where no one had gone before.
Yeah.
I mean,
You're
it's
talking
like,
about after
wow,
Heidi?
we are really...
Yeah,
After Heidi was gravel, after
Yeah.
after the bridge.
Right at the
yeah.
switchbacks.
Fascinating.
The
Yes, I
switchbacks, you hit the
totally
gravel.
remember that. And we would
Oh.
listen to... The other thing I have very clear memories
Oh, yeah,
about
yeah. It was
is the
John
music.
Denver.
We
John
would listen
Denver.
to John
John
Denver
Denver.
and Waylon and Willie.
Yes,
right. And
the Outlaws.
Chris
And it-
Christopherson.
Yes.
Yep.
Or, yeah. I mean, all
Were they
those
called the
old
Highwaymen?
country.
I think it was the
Yeah.
Outlaws.
Okay.
They were. It was a super group. It was Willie Whalen and
Yeah, and then
I wanna say Johnny
Christopher,
Cash.
you know,
Okay.
Waylon sings Christopherson.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I remember that it was old country.
And it was
old
always
country, like,
so positive.
I know.
I mean, that's what I remember, the feeling. It's like,
Yeah.
wow, here we are.
Well, and even before the Vanagon, we had the microbus, right?
Yes.
Blue one.
And that was
Yeah.
an 8-track tape built in.
Uh-huh.
So we
Yeah,
would
yeah.
we would listen
Yes.
to
Oak Ridge Boys.
Helen Reddy.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Helen Reddy,
Yep.
you know, I Am Woman.
Yep.
Oh, nice.
And then I want to say, like, yeah, and I remember you and I were just little
You have to sing.
twerps, and Mom and Susan would sing
Never stopped you before.
at the top of their lungs, and you'd be like, you and I would be
know
like,
it, so I can sing
you know,
Really
making
loud.
fun of we're
Yeah.
men, and they're like, shut up, hush up, shut up. It's like,
We're men.
Adam and I.
You're 8.
Adam and well, we weren't woman.
I remember some of my earliest memories were going to the far side of the path on the far side of the bridge,
Okay.
and we would play Vietnam War
Yes.
with pine cone grenades
Oh
and
my
stick
God.
And
guns.
sticks for guns. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
but we were on the same team. We weren't fighting each
Right.
other. We were fighting imaginary
Always. You
opponents, which I don't think were always Vietnamese exactly. Just sort of we were in
That's
a war.
just what
and
you knew.
We
Yeah.
knew there was a
Yeah.
war, and
Yeah.
we were fighting. And
Wow, that's crazy. You actually remember that.
oh yeah, and the fish and the sort of the dealing with the reality of the way you get fish is you put the fish in the thing and it flops around until it dies, and later
Right.
you get to eat the fish.
Well,
or
Dad
you have
used
to
to
bash it with a
bash it
rock.
with
That's what I remember. His dad would bash it, or
Yeah.
Dad would take the head and just hit it against
He
the
let me
rock.
do catch and release.
Yeah.
I remember how scared I was. One time there was a hook through the gill, and I was like, "It's gonna die!"
No, that's the good versions. When they swallow it is
Yeah.
when they're
That's,
done.
yeah, 'cause especially if they're
Yeah.
barbed,
Yeah.
then they're not
They
coming
ain't
out.
coming
Right,
back.
You're gonna
right.
just tear that thing up.
Right.
Yeah.
Beth, what are your earliest memories?
I remember being in Aunt Edie's tent, and Mom was maybe doing my hair, or maybe I had taken a nap. I remember I was putting on an undershirt. That's how young I was. It was an undershirt, and it was white, and there was an inchworm on it. And I was afraid until Mom was like, "No, they're cute. They're our little friends. Look." And then I fell in love with inchworms like
Wow. Oh,
immediately.
that is cute.
Because
Wow.
they're so cute.
They are.
Like they go.
You saw
meow,
Katie and
meow,
Real, and I saw one the other
meow,
day.
meow.
Yes,
They're so cute.
So cool.
Corey actually got a video of one on our tent the other
Nice.
day. And
That
he was
is
like,
cute.
"I saw this thing," and I'm like, "That's an inchworm."
Yeah. That's cool.
I remember fishing with Uncle Rick, especially right there. There was the bridge. There was the bridge, and then you could go kind of under the bridge into the tunnel and
Yep,
fish there.
yep.
You could fish on either of the rocks on the other side. I remember catching fishes and getting, like the panic that ensued
Yes.
once the fish was there. It was like, "You gotta save it." Which is funny because I apparently just didn't understand the purpose.
Yeah.
I remember crossing over there, and we would play Endor, essentially. We would play
Yeah.
Star Wars.
After crossing
Uh-huh.
over a
Yeah.
log.
Yeah, we'd cross over there, and that was like the Star Wars island.
Yeah.
And then
I
as we got
remember that,
older, we'd
too.
go on like bigger tracks.
Right.
We found clear cuts over there.
Oh wow.
And then one time I almost fell off the log. I remember that. Yeah, I've got a lot. I mean, I got a lot.
You've got a great memory. Too.
I remember Aunt Edie teaching me to go potty in the wild.
Oh,
Uh-huh.
that's
and
awesome.
teaching me that what you really need to do is find a nice section of moss.
Yeah.
And then you can sit down.
I wish you would have taught me that.
Yeah. Potty in the wild.
Avoid the
And Dad taught you to, I think,
go potty.
pee in the river or something. Bye bye California.
Oh yeah.
Bye
right,
bye
right.
California.
Bye bye to California. That's
Yeah.
funny.
One thing that I was thinking about in terms of Rick and Edie's tents, I remember there were a couple of trips where at least a few nights you slept in their tent.
Yeah.
And it's like retconning it now or realizing what was happening. Like at the time it was, Beth's going to have a fun adventure. Realistically, what it probably was Kim and Greg are out in their own tents. And Susan and David are in the little yellow tent with Adam, Beth, and themselves. We can take Beth
We
for a
can take
night.
Beth for a night.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
funny. I don't have any of that memory.
I have one where I just remembered this, that this is when I was like your bully big cousin. I was in a tent with you two, and I was starting to tell stories about land sharks.
Yeah, it scared Beth.
And I was talking to both of you.
That sounds right.
And I said, I
thought they
said,
were real.
and I remember I talked to him.
I
Beth
thought
was
they were
convinced they were real.
I was sociopathic in the way I did it. I go, well, you know, it's just the part. It's just the way it is, and you know, you just have to deal with it.
And the river's right there.
And the river's, you know, and that's just the way it goes, and you know, you just kind of have to deal with it. And then I leave, and like I want to say 5 seconds later, the tent just erupts with wailing. Both kids start to wail.
No wonder you remember it. You
And they were
terrified them.
wailing, and I was by that time I was in our tent with Dad, and all of a sudden I hear David say, "Greg, did you talk to them about land sharks?" I'm like, "Huh?" And then David says, "Cheap shot, Greg." And then my dad turns to me and just lays into me and says, "What are you doing?"
God, that is hilarious.
So when we first started coming, obviously, the very first years, there were only the 6 of you. Rick, Edie, Dad, Mom, and the 2 of you. And then I showed up 2 years later. Beth showed up 5 years later. And then slowly we started bringing more people in.
Yeah, right.
Do you remember maybe the first time you brought a friend with you?
I wonder if I brought Greg Anderman.
I think you did at least once.
Because
yeah.
in my
That's
head, the
what
first thing I thought I was like, Greg Anderman was
Yeah,
here.
that was my.
So that was probably the
actually where my
first
brain
boy
went
you
to.
brought.
Yeah.
I bet you John was the first I brought.
Yeah, oh
Laufenberg.
yeah.
Well, because his family came.
Yeah, that's
Dude,
true.
Clem was so awesome at camping.
Yeah.
Every time you walk out, hi, Beth.
Yeah.
What are you doing today? Let's get involved. Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, he'd want to have a
Love
serious
that
talk,
man.
sit down and really listen.
love that man.
Yeah, he was awesome.
And Johnny's so turning into him. I love it when Johnny sits down and really listens.
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
oh my God, you're your dad.
Totally. I think one of the things I think is magical about this place, though, is that every year it's different
Yes.
because of who comes, and that's kind of part of the mystery and the magic.
New
and
vibe.
the,
Yeah.
It's every year. There's like this. You know, you can rely on some fundamentals, and then depending on who is or who isn't here, like of course my son was here.
Yeah.
It's like it just changes the whole dynamic just a little bit. So you miss those people, but then you also think, oh, you know, Linda's son's coming this year, so that'll be fun to talk to
And
him.
depending on marital statuses,
And
Yeah.
various people have come and gone in this,
Yes.
thanks to me.
Yes.
Dude, I've had
Not
breakups
just you,
in this
yeah,
very
no.
campground.
What's that?
I've had breakups in this very campground.
Oh, you have?
It's not
Okay.
about marital status. It's just
I think my
relationship status.
favorite memory in terms of bringing friends is when I brought Darcy and,
And Denise.
and somebody else, and we were
That
down at
was
number
fun.
6,
Yes.
and we played Presidents and Assholes.
Yes.
And I want to say there
I
was
believe
12
I was
people at that
pregnant.
table.
You were.
Dude,
Yep.
asshole was the best. Like,
that
that was
was
the
like-
funnest.
I remember that
Dad,
really well.
I have a picture of
Because
Dad,
I
and
was
Dad has his,
pregnant.
Dad, so I didn't see Dad like this much, but Dad has his baseball cap on backwards, and he is lit up. I mean, he's loaded, having the time of his life.
Yeah.
All right, Jason, you had a pretty good time last night?
Yeah,
What exactly did you do?
we played Asshole.
This
We had a
guy
great-
right
you
here
missed the party
made
last night.
me drink.
Darcy, you'd like to say something real quick?
No.
Okay.
Hey, great weekend.
All right.
Yes,
it was.
Killer time. Had a great time playing Asshole with you guys last night. Had a great time kicking your ass.
Well, we certainly had a nice fitting to the event, don't you think?
Yes, it did.
With Mr. President
It
here.
was real fun last night.
This is Mr.
Seriously,
President.
that was a great ending.
I tended to be the lower end of the spectrum, making an effort to kind of move from serfdom to bourgeoisie, but never made the transition.
Anytime you can get your dad to just be a total partier like that.
Yeah. Well, remember when Greg Parker and Dad, Greg Parker took out his, or was it Jason? They took, whoever it was,
Oh, it was
took out
Jay.
their pipe, and then,
And then we
Dad
all
kinda-
went on that
Yeah,
walk.
Greg
Dad kind of looked
Jay
around
took out his canister
and
of
then,
film
and then Dad
to
produced
show
his pipe.
Dad. Yeah,
And then we
Dad
all
was
went on
like,
that walk, and then
boom.
that was the first time I ever
Oh,
smoked
that
pot
was
with
the
Dad
walk.
and
Yeah,
David.
yeah.
And
Well, that's kind of interesting because this may be a venue where, because of just the nature of what we do out here,
Yeah.
that we maybe the times we really saw our parents as people.
Yeah.
yeah.
In a way that we
We're the
wouldn't
ones.
I
in
think
a
that's true.
structured
Yeah,
household
no,
environment.
I
you know?
totally, and I
That's a good
also
point.
think that it's the first time that my kids
Oh,
have
for
seen
sure. When
me
they were
as
1 and
an
6
adult.
months
And
old.
it's
Yeah.
good and the bad too. They see the bickering, they see
Exactly.
the whatever,
Right,
but they
right.
also see the joy
and the loose,
the
just
carefreeness.
releasing
Yeah.
all of the
Yeah.
waves of the world.
Well, and probably
As
too
you
for
do
your
that.
guys' kids, the ability to see again this sort of less filtered, less structured environment, the way you interact with your parents, and they can see the commonalities
Yeah.
between that relationship and that
So,
relationship
you know,
with you,
and that's, I wasn't planning on sharing this part, but when I talked to Ricky, and of course here I'm going to get, I can't help myself. I was talking to him the other day, and he said, camping is the most important family event of the year.
Yes.
I can see that.
Camping is more important than Christmas.
Yeah.
We spend more time together.
Kim, I feel that way. I feel that way.
I mean, it's really, he's like, I will not miss another camping trip.
Yeah.
And Ariana will not ever not come.
So along
Because
those lines,
she's, you know, that's it.
She's
along
part of the family.
those lines with Becky, like I said, Becky, you know, because Becky went to Depot Bay with us,
Right.
and she went to Mexico with us, whatever.
Right.
I said, I go, let's go camp. She goes, well, I don't really want to go camping, and no big deal, right? I go, no, you don't understand.
This is important.
I said, I stay home for Depot Bay, stay home for Mexico.
Yeah.
You have to come camp.
Yeah.
Like you don't get it. And
Yeah.
so I finally got it through to her how important camping is.
Yeah, no, it
because
is,
to
it was
me
really
it's really
interesting
the
to hear
most.
that.
Yeah.
It is the most important.
Well,
From this, you know, this 30-year-old kid who's been coming here every single year.
Yeah.
I mean,
He
he's not
ate dirt.
He's not listed.
Right over
He
there.
missed a year. Katie missed a couple years.
He missed the one
He
when we
missed
did
the
the
one we
quest.
did-
I think we've all
He was in
missed.
DC
I think
that
we've all
first
missed
year.
a year.
I think I
too.
missed
Yeah,
one
you're
year
right.
once.
Like I missed a year for
One.
arts
I only
camp
missed
one year
Yeah,
when I was
that's
in
right.
Europe.
and it had
that
something
year.
to do with
Yeah.
young kids,
Yeah.
I think. Or
I can see that.
and then there was a time I came and Emma and Bryn were Claire was a baby and Emma and Bryn were young girls, and I came here and by myself with the girls, and I worked my butt off for
Yeah, you did.
48 hours.
You ran
Yeah.
your butt.
because those
That's-
kids
takes
needed a lot of my
work.
There
attention,
were
but
three
Yeah.
youngins.
they were two. Yeah, because Claire was
you
at
were-
home as a baby with Jill. Anyway, I swear to God, I think I missed once
Yeah.
my whole life.
I think I've missed twice.
Twice,
Yeah,
yeah.
YMA and Europe.
Okay, how about you, Adam?
I missed a bunch
You
during
missed a
ESPN and
bunch.
college.
Oh, of course you did.
I
Yeah, you
missed-
were East Coast.
I missed a smattering of them. I mean, one
Yeah.
time I remember I was doing 50 and 50 during camping,
Yeah.
and I
That's
tried to
why.
find a way to get home, and I couldn't do it.
Remember when
Yeah.
I did the family madrigal
yeah, I mean,
and
I
I
don't
told
think we
you who
missed
everybody
this. I
was?
just
Yes.
don't.
That's why.
And
he's
now that
Bruno.
the
They
nice
say
thing,
until
Adam,
the
also is that
future,
we've settled
one day
on a date.
disappeared.
Yeah,
It
it's the
seems
same
to be that
weekend,
first
roughly every year.
weekend in July. Now that we can almost rely on
Until
that.
it's always 100, and then maybe we'll have to change.
Yeah.
something.
Well, and the thing
Yeah.
that I'm really focused on, and I've been wondering about this, and you know, as Annie D and Uncle Rick start to like relinquish their, you know, we're not going to do this anymore. We're not going to do that anymore.
It's
We're
gonna
going to
fall
come.
on
We're going to
us.
put our stuff. And like, yeah, we're the next gen. Like,
We are.
We're the adults.
Yeah. I
And
was
the thing
thinking
that
about
really,
too.
like, I get nervous. I'm like, is it still going to happen? Like, are we still going to do this? Like, I want to do this.
Kim and I talk about that all the time,
Yeah.
and we are going
Yeah,
to keep
we
this
will.
going.
We will
Okay.
totally.
Now,
I mean,
after
we can't
after
not.
our generation, because
Well,
we're
my
going
kids
It's all
will be
about
here.
Ricky.
Oh, Ricky.
My kids will be
Ricky.
here.
I was
gonna say,
And Katie. Katie's
Kate,
totally
yeah.
committed.
It wouldn't be that crazy in keeping with our Gen X overlooked roots to eventually, like, okay, the older generation's tapping out. Ricky,
Yeah.
we'll oversee the transition, but you're in charge
Yeah,
now.
we'll skip Prince Charles, go straight to William.
What I was going to say is that I think that one of the reasons this is one of the important things is that in every other aspect of our lives, including on Christmas, we have our phones, we have the TV, we have other
Oh,
things.
good point. Yeah.
And when we're here, the only entertainment, the only
Is
brain
talking
activity is with each other.
Yep.
Whether
Which
it's
is
an
part of the
activity with
magic,
each
yeah,
other, hey, what are we
definitely.
doing tomorrow? Are we going to go on
Yeah.
a hike and talk?
Let's
are we
go
going
to
to
the
do something
lake,
collective?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
there's a durational aspect to being here. That
All you can do is talk.
yeah.
One thing I do want to say real quick is, Beth, you obviously, I don't know, probably 25 years ago, this tradition of Saturday night concerts.
Yeah. You know
That is by far, well, it's not by far, but it's a tradition that, like, when I'm talking to people about coming or not, I'm like, you got to come for Saturday night. Because Saturday night,
It's the
everybody
one
comes
night,
together. It's
yeah.
the one night where we all come together, and Beth will play some of her original material, and then she'll play some covers, and everybody sings, and we all come together. And so that has really become, in my mind, the pinnacle of camping is
Yeah,
the big concert.
yeah.
And we always talk about the concert on Saturday night.
Yeah.
The concert on Saturday night is kind of like the
Sing-alongs.
well, it's the if you say, like, we go camping, we go to the reservoir, we do hikes, whatever. Well, the concert's
That's
kind
That
of the
thing
big.
is
does
always-
not
That's-
change.
No.
That does not change.
Like,
I can't remember when you started doing that.
the thing is that
1996 was the first
you guys
one.
didn't notice because you were older than me, but like, I don't know if you knew this, but I always, at family events, I would just go somewhere and read. Like, I never knew where I fit in because you guys were like brothers, and
Well,
then
we
you
were playing
were
Star
you
Wars
were
or
my
whatever.
hero, but you were so much older than I
Right.
was, and
So much
so
older.
I would just go and read, and like that, it made me feel
Oh, that's awesome.
relevant in our
Yeah,
family.
wow,
And
Yeah.
the thing
That's
that
awesome,
really
Beth.
that I miss, that I wish that I hadn't stopped doing, and I was an angry 20-something when I stopped doing it, but do you guys remember the camping
Oh,
blues?
totally.
Yeah.
I remember the camping blues.
I was thinking
so
about that on the way up
well.
here.
Well, that
I
was
like, dude, that
participatory,
was
right?
so...
But it's also we've
And
gotten
I got
personal.
everybody
We've gotten
in
to
it. I
30
always
people.
got
And they
everybody
were
in it.
so funny.
we've gotten
so
to 30
clever.
people though. It'd be a
That was
very
the
long
problem. I
song.
think when I
Good
was
point, Beth.
20,
Yeah.
it was a bunch of people that I
12.
didn't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was looking around and I'm
Yeah.
like, I can't do verses about all these people. I
Right.
don't even know who
Right.
that
Well, and
is.
Brielle is
Right.
unroastable.
That's true.
So, what are you
Real is
gonna do?
unflappable.
All right, so
But yeah, it's really important for me too. It's
I
really
think
important
that's
for me.
so powerful.
Yeah.
I'm so
Yeah.
glad.
I'm just
I know
glad
there
that
have
it's-
been times where I feel like it's a burden for you.
No, it's never. The only thing that I worry about is as the audience, if you will, has gotten younger, I'm like, I don't know their songs. Like
All you
they're
gotta
gonna
know
be
is Taylor
like,
Swift, Beth.
this is annoying. Like, what the hell is she playing? Why is she still going on? Can we go
no.
get drunk now?
Everybody
Like,
knows.
Yeah, Ava's like, now we got to figure out what Ava's listening to.
Yeah. I want to say something, and then I need to go. It's going to make me cry again. Because I do, whenever I talk about anything important. On Thursday, when I was packing the car, I looked at Salvador, and I said, there's a feeling I have when I'm getting ready to go to Frissell that is like no other feeling.
Interesting.
It is like just this giddy, excited.
kid.
Oh, that's
and
nice,
it's
Kimmer.
like, I don't ever feel that feeling except when
For
I am
Frissell. That's
getting in
awesome.
the car and driving to Frissell.
Yeah.
And this is the first year I was able to like articulate it.
Yeah.
I felt it before, and I
Right.
came by myself, so I think that was part of it. I wasn't like, there wasn't a lot of noise in my head. So I was just like, this is this feeling. I was taking stuff out of the fridge and sticking it in the cooler, and it was like, this is that feeling, this
Good.
familiar feeling that I get once a year.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's coming
so
home.
magical.
It's coming home in the most
Right.
real sense
Yeah.
that I know of.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This is home.
Should the fates smile upon this place and the family, and the tradition continues, one sentence you would like to, what would you like to say to our descendants 50 years from now when they're here for Frissell 100?
Yeah. I'll say, don't ever stop coming here.
Yep.
Keep it going forever.
Yep.
And make it a priority in your life. You know, don't cancel. Don't say, well, something else came up. Unless you have a major event, you keep doing this forever. Because this is so, because of what we do here.
Yeah.
And because you're unplugged, to your point, it's like, make this a priority in your life.
Yeah.
Beth?
Well, and I just want to piggyback real quick off
Yeah.
that. We've put so much of, like, if you believe in chi, if you believe in energy, if you believe, so much of our family's history, so much of our energy is in these trees. It's in the river. It's in the rocks. It's everywhere. That's why driving in from Phil's now is kind of, it's really hard. And that's my message. Take nothing for granted. Like, driving in now from Phil's is really hard. And I just know that, like, I took it for granted so much that I didn't even realize I was taking it for granted until it was gone. So don't take it for granted. It's so beautiful. It's so
is.
perfect having this time with your family, having this time
For sure.
away. And
Yep.
it's,
Took more than one sentence. I would say cherish it. Cherish it and take care of it. Take care of the spirit.
no burning plastic.
Take care of the chi, take care of the energy, take care of each other. There's always drama, put the drama aside.
Or enjoy
and
the drama.
Focus or enjoy
Well, a lot of times the drama is artificial and manufactured.
Yeah.
And
And
it's
it's like
not real.
just focus on the core, which is what we've been talking about this
Right.
whole time.
Yeah.
It's like
How about you,
focus,
Ad?
focus on the core.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
mine is, 50 years from now, there'll be universal satellite internet and various other things. But yeah, do everything you can to disconnect and just be with the people that you're here with.
Yeah.
Because it's you get involved in projects and working on things with people, and you learn things about them and yourself through doing those things. So just be deliberate and connect and disconnect and then connect.
Gotcha.
That's my thing.
It's so good.
Dude, everything
It's
we
great.
remember about Clem.
great.
Everything about Clem.
Oh, it's Clem grabbing you by the face and
Yeah.
download with me. Tell me
Yeah.
who you are.
Or
What is
Uncle
it?
know,
Bud
Adam, you're
taking you
right,
for a
'cause
walk and
Right.
showing
I
you
like
how
what you
to
said,
sit bug
disconnect
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
connect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Disconnect
Yeah.
to connect.
Or
As-
Chris
as-
Bone showing
as
you her
in-
new tattoo.
Yes.
and boo.
Here in 2024, as important as your TikTok feed may seem,
Yeah.
it's transitory. It's gonna go away. This stays. So
Yeah.
so connect to the things that stay. In one sentence, describe your relationship with Frissell. We'll start with Beth on this one.
Oh. Inadvertent drama. Just because I like to wander sometimes, and especially if I've got hurt feelings, it's like I'm in the woods. I can go wander, and then I'll be back. And the minute I wander, the word goes out that Beth has gone wandering. We've lost Beth. She's probably dead. And then getting lost with Chad was probably also, and then the concerts, So sorry, one sentence. What is Frissell to me?
Yeah.
Frissell is home.
Yeah.
Frissell's home.
That's exactly what came to my mind too.
Yeah, well, so I can't give you a sentence because I have a complicated relationship with this place. But the flip side is the most joyous experiences in my life. So in many ways, I feel like Frissell is a family member because you have pain with family, you have hurt and tears with family, but you also have elation with family. So both the wonderful, to me, it's much like a living family member.
Yeah,
Because it goes up and down.
Yeah, that's
just
great,
like my
Greg.
life goes up and down.
I love that.
So that's what I have to say.
That's great.
That's beautiful. Yeah.
Cameron?
Home was the first thing that came to my mind when
Yeah.
you asked the question. And I love what you say too. Because there's been so much.
There's been and it's not always fun.
And it's consistent though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
I mean, it's
consistent.
not always happy.
It's
To be
consistent.
quite honest,
And I'm so grateful this place was saved. 4 miles.
Yes,
4
I know.
miles.
I know. What about you,
Yeah,
Ed?
mine is it's essentially sort of like if it's so weird considering where we all live, but if our family had a capital, it'd be here.
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
And what I said yesterday when I was talking to the older generation was it's I didn't say enforced, but it's something like that. It's like involuntary serenity. It's like you can't look up at the trees and not feel
Yes, a great term.
better and more connected to the reality.
Yeah.
You know, there's
Real reality.
we've created in so many different ways bubbles, whether it's air conditioning and central air in our houses and internet and phone, all those things that we curate our lives. But it's like, oh right, there's an actual real unfettered world out there that is, and you can't avoid it here. It's here.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's actual life.
I've always said that if I get married, I want to get married here.
I know, I
And it was
remember
going to
you
be
saying
site
that.
6, but now site 6 is kind
No,
of
5
destroyed.
is the
But
spot. I got it all planned.
I saw this sun hitting this dappled place in campsite 1. And I was like, that would be perfect for an altar. So you have the wedding there, then you matriculate over 1 for the reception. Then the post reception is in 3.
Yeah.
And then the camping coach, for the bride to get ready and whatever is in 6.
6.
There you go.
Yeah.
Each side is a station.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Thanks for doing this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
thanks,
thank
Zach.
you, Adam.
Thank you, guys.
And by the way, really quick, while we're all here,
Yep.
like, wait, no, leave this.
I'm
I
turning
want
this off.
recorded. No,
Oh,
I want this
God.
recorded. We were annoyed by you for some times. we were even angry at some times.
The memorialization.
But gosh darn it,
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank God
you
for Adam.
chronicalized this.
Yes.
Thank you for being the family
We've
historian.
got we've got pictures, we've got video. I've got so many memories because
So
of
glad
you.
he does
totally
that.
agree.
I would
Because
not do
you,
this.
Totally agree.
you
No,
did
I
this.
wouldn't do
You
this.
sat us down and said,
Yep.
"Look, this is important.
I'm
we
gonna
need
be
to
back
mark the
tomorrow."
passing of
Because I
this
knew
time."
this conversation was
Yeah.
coming eventually. I'll get it
Jason,
eventually.
take the microphone shaped like a freaking and
cone.
put the pine cone on and go interview Uncle
Totally
Rick.
agree.
And that's something that we
Good call, Beth. Way to
You
call
can't
that
go
out.
back
yeah.
and make that happen.
No.
You did that.
Yeah, and this
for
stuff
us.
is immortalized now.
Yeah.
So, and we don't do this
And the
without Adam.
quests
I don't
and
have
the
something like
everything.
this.
Like you have done so
Yeah, the
much for
quests
us.
are pretty awesome.
Quest. Oh, there's some
those-
memories.
We're
Yeah.
very grateful. And
There
I don't
are
think
years
we
where
say it
the-
enough.
No, I
Yeah,
agree. I
good.
totally
And
agree.
yeah, I know it takes
Yes.
a lot of effort. Like there are years where that quest where it was easier, and then there's years where it was a lot harder.
Dude, last year's was badass.
Oh, last year's was hard.
Last year's was badass.
Anyway.
Well, and taking us to the Presidential Grove, which we never would have known existed,
Yeah.
or Constitution
No,
Grove, or
yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
Like you've been such a catalyst for so many,
Good call.
and then you've been able to encapsulate these memories for us, and now
Yeah.
we get to go back because of your efforts and see Greg
Yes.
at 15.
Yes.
I know, because it's all digitized
And
now.
And me and,
And it'll
and
be
me and
for
Chad coming
generations.
back,
And then 50
Kim
years
with,
from now,
with
this'll
little
be-
tiny Ricky eating
Yeah.
dirt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, so thank you.
Thank
Yeah,
you very
thanks,
much.
Tatman.
Yes,
Very
totally
much.
agree.
Thank you for letting the camera be stuck in your face.
That was great. Yay, Cousin Club.
Yay,
OG Cousins.
Oh, geez. The OGs.